Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle Thomas here. Little video on ESP. So what is ESP? Extrasensory perception. So to put it simply, extrasensory perception is just being attuned to your senses. Where attention goes, energy flows. What you focus on grows. If you focus on the sound of hearing and let the vibrations of the insect music ripple through your body, you allow it, you accept it into you, you let it reverberate. You're not distracted by mental thought and analyzing it, or thinking about, oh, how are they making that sound, what's going on. No, if you just allow it into you, let it ripple through you, it's like you can almost kind of get drunk from it, right? As you focus on it, it grows. It becomes more and more of who you think yourself to be. Same too with like looking, vision, seeing. If you relax into it and allow yourself to take in more, again, without thinking, without analyzing, just taking in your sight, you see more. You see the ripples, the little eddy currents or wisps of energy floating around the trees, especially, in nature is where you want to look, because that's where there's a lot of life, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of electricity flowing through. Because trees are life, plants are life, they're living beings, they are organisms, they are cellular structures that are creating themselves and growing. They have an energy to them. You can see that energy. That's why in nature, and that's why they say nature is very healing. But again, getting back to ESP, extrasensory perceptions, most of the time we're distracted from our senses, right? We're watching TV shows, we're watching movies, we're on our phones, we're always disembodied in a way, right? We're not focused on our senses. We've forgotten what it's like to be embodied, to be spirits embodied. And so ESP, being psychic, is just being in tune with your senses, attuned to your senses, listening, observing, paying attention to your senses. And then so like reading people, having somebody there, looking at the mannerisms, looking at the facial movements, the body language. 70% of language is unspoken. It's just, the energy of the person. The body language speaks more than the words themselves. Again, that's you can't pay attention if you're thinking about it. If you're thinking, you're not looking. Your mind tends to only be able to do one thing at a time, either observe or think about what it's observing. And a lot of the times we get lost in thought. We have an education system that teaches us to constantly think and analyze and look at everything as a problem. That's why the idea of meditation and just kind of letting go and getting out of the mind and into the feelings of things, right? If you get into the feelings, you're into the senses. When you're into the senses, you're actually embodied. You're an embodied soul. And so it's something you could practice, getting back to, ESP. It's just being attuned to your senses. Focus, practice looking. Seeing the little foggy waves from around the trees and around people. There's this white fog. If you relax more and take in more light, that white fog can turn into colors: blue, purple, red, green, yellow, depending on what's going on. All the colors mean something. But it's something you practice tuning into. It's a relaxed state. You are receptive, right? Thought automatically blocks you away because you're kind of judging everything that comes in. And it's just practicing your senses. Touching. We all know there's varying levels or degrees of touch, and we can usually tend to feel the difference in touch, if it's a malicious touch or if it's a intimate touch, a loving touch. You can feel the energy of the person when they touch you, right? Again, extrasensory perception. If you're focusing and putting attention to what you're perceiving, it becomes enhanced. And so you can feel more into what's behind what's going on. So when someone touches, you can feel if you feel uncomfortable. Some of it could be you and your discomfort and programming about being touched, and you don't like to be touched because you got abused as a kid, or there's a lot of times there's that, but then there's also the energy of the person. So there's a lot to decipher, right? We're kind of a confused, messed up species because of the life we've lived and the way we've been taught and all these contradictory teachings and things. We've kind of lost sight. Basically, it's just about becoming embodied, tapping into your senses again, remembering what it's like to be in your body, to feel your cells. Every cell of your being is producing a small amount of energy, and you can tap into that sensation of cellular energy, and it relaxes you, and it's tranquil. And then just being out in nature and again listening, looking at the trees, looking at everything, it's very harmonious. But it's something that's enhanced with exercise, right? We all know and understand to exercise our physical muscles for adequate health, but we forget about the mental muscles, or the etheric muscles, because it's not really mental. Mental muscles are something else. That's having to do with logical thinking and not being biased and open to alternative perspectives and points of view. But there's an etheric muscle. Forget who it was, but there was some scientist, some philosopher that was talking about that there's only 4 senses, and the 5th sense, the sense of feeling itself, is the sense of the soul, right? It's a soul thing because it's not tied to body. You can feel outside your body. You can feel when somebody else is in the room next to you, or what they're doing, or what they're feeling. Sometimes if they're angry, you can feel that they're angry. You're 10 feet away, but you can still feel them. You can feel outside of your body, and you can focus your receptivity of feeling to different parts of your bodies, right? You can focus on your feet and feel more into your feet. You can focus on your head and feel your head. You can focus on your heart and you can feel your heart. It's maneuverable. It's flexible, right? Just like flexing a muscle, flexing your bicep. You can flex your etheric muscle, your focus muscle, your muscle of feeling. And that's all ESP is: extrasensory perception, being psychic, being tuned, being an empath. It's being receptive to the energies that are around you and maintaining an awareness to what you're picking up, not being lost in thought, but focused on your perceptions, because that's where all the information is. Reality is a construct. It is a holographic perception of energetic influences in your environment. You see trees, you see leaves, you see buildings, but those are all energetic constructs, right? Look at atoms, 99.9% empty space, vast amount of space between the electron cloud and the atomic nucleus. Again, electron cloud, right? Electricity, energy. Atoms being little pulsations of energy, of which there's trillions within one leaf. And your nervous system, your sensory system, just takes these electrical signals and translates it into something perceivable and understandable. You're experiencing yourself. So ESP is just being embodied, being attuned to your senses and perceiving, not being distracted by thought, but focused on the senses. When you're focused on your senses, you become more receptive to the information you're receiving. Thus, you know more. You have more information about what's going on. You have more information about the people that are around you. It's not being psychic. It's just being aware. It's just being focused on what your senses are taking in. So, hopefully that clarifies it and makes it more simple. Nervous system, senses, electrical stimuli. The more you focus on your sensory tools, the more sensitive they become. You get more information. Super simple. Not woo-woo at all. But, I leave that up to you. Until next time.